morning and welcome Nevada Camera Club members and guests to the NCC Electronic Image Competition for September 2020. Because it's September 2020, we had a few technical difficulties this evening and we apologize for being late, but hey, it is 2020. Our competition staff includes setup assistants Stephen Cupp, Jerome Hamilton, Craig and Linda Hicks, Ed Stiglitz, and Corey Windingling. Our announcer is Linda Hicks, projectionist is Stephen Cupp, scorekeeper is Craig Hicks, and our engineer is Corey. Our judges this evening, in Chair 1 we have Ed Stiglitz, in Chair 2 we have Gary Galvin, in Chair 3 Daryl Dinright, in Chair 4 Stan Collis, and in Chair 5 Jerome Hamilton. 25 members this evening entered 73 images in 29 unique categories. And now, here is your Nevada Camera Club Electronic Image Competition for September 2020. I would like to start with judges 1, 2, and 4, please. For those of you viewing us remotely, we are not using the keypads. The judges will be showing me their scorecards, and I will be announcing what those scores are. You will be able to hear what the scores are, and they will also be published in the October issue of Focal Expressions. We will be starting this evening with abstract. Our first category in abstract is advanced color. Harmonics.
We're supposed to have a picture up there on lives.
Okay, Chris, show them.
No, I'm live. Why aren't you live?
The scores are 8, 8, 8.
Okay, it's just
There it goes. Was lagging behind, so
Be aware there may be some lags between what we're announcing and what you're seeing. Do we have a judge comment on harmonics?
Nice lines, flow, in and out, good color. I like the square presentation of the image.
yeah, also good. The image has a lot of dynamics. The colors are really popping well, and as an abstract, I think it really fits the category well. And it just got a lot of movement in it. And your eye is pulled through in different directions, but it has a nice composition. And I agree. I like the square format. I think it works well.
The image received a 24. Zoom. The scores are 9, 9, 9.
The color and the dynamics are just really awesome on that. It keeps your eye just moving through the whole image. I don't see anything wrong with that
The
at all.
motion, the clarity, the sharpness, it's just beautiful.
The use of the red as the center point there is just really striking. The image is very dynamic, and it just has a fluidness that moves you around.
The image received a 27. There are 2 images to review for placement, starting with zoom and going back 1 to harmonics. Judges, a 1 or a 2, please, for harmonics. And the judges have chosen zoom. We're moving on to advanced monochrome abstract, gray and black. Same judges, please. The scores are 7, 8, 8. Comment?
Well, I'm low score, so I'll comment. I find all of the material on the right part of the image, it doesn't add anything or help the image in any way. I would like this image a lot better if it would have been tight just on whatever the center part of the image is.
The image received a 23. It was the only image in the category. Judges 3, 4, and 5, please. We're moving on to creative. We'll start with intermediate color creative. Heading out to fish. Scores are 8, 9, 9.
I'm one of the 9s. I love it. I love but between the coloration on the men and the detail, that's totally awesome. And then you got the dynamics of the sky that's in there. I think is great too.
I want to go ahead and say something, just because I was a lower score. I like the angle of the boat. I like the red jacket. The red hats really adds to it, makes it pop. I was having a little difficulty with the stuff that's in the water in the middle of the image. It kind of takes my eye away from the boat, and especially being in creative where you've taken the time to make an application to the image, you could have taken a little time, I think, to clean up that little bit of stuff, which I know it's probably buoys or little boats out there as well.
The image received a 26. Respite. Eight, 8, 8.
I think this is a beautiful image. The color palette I love the color palette. I think the one thing that would have made it a little better for me is if you just cut off some of the top, more focus on the birds on the post.
The image received a 24. There are 2 images to review for placement, starting with respite and going back 1 to heading out to fish. Judges, a 1 or 2, please, for heading out to fish. And the judges have chosen heading out to fish. Same judges, please, for Advanced Color Creative, Imaginary. Nine, nine, nine.
These people had enough time to play with all these images. They're all great.
The image received a 27. It was the only image in the category. Judges 1, 2, and 5, please. For Master Color Creative, Beauty in the Weeds. Eight, eight, 9.
Well, I was one of the 8s, and a few of my problems is they darkened up the corners, I think, a little bit too much. It looks like you're looking through a hole. And on the edges of the left and the right of the image, we have a white line that is visible. This is master class. Those little details should not be overlooked. Leaving those little white lines on the side of the image, I think, distracts a little bit from it.
Linda, I'm sorry. I was also one of the 8s, and yeah, once again, a master class. I think when you're looking at this, because the way the good flowers are spread out, you're really drawn to the center of the bunch of not good flowers, and especially being in a master class, that shouldn't happen that way.
The image received a 25. It was the only image in the category. Same judges, please, for Master Monochrome Creative, Sunburst Morning. Eight, eight, 8.
Anyone? I think this, again, it's like right on the edge of being great. It came up and I had a good impact right away, but the more you kind of study it, it kind of takes away. Usually in a master class, you want to grab their attention and keep them viewing it. And I do like what you're trying to do here. I think just maybe there was a little bit too much application to the after process.
Image received a 24. It was the only image in the category. We're moving on to documentary. I would like to continue with the same judges, please. We'll start with Advanced Color Documentary, Backyard During Pandemic.
Which class again was it, please?
Advanced.
We have audio?
We have video of that.
It's all back to normal now.
Okay. Judges 2, 3, and 4, please.
Yeah, well, it was advanced.
Advanced monochrome documentary.
Yeah, that's better.
Eight, 8, 8.
Well, I'll go on. It's a pleasing image. I think the corners being darkened is a little bit too much, and it looks like there's some artifacting on the upper right, and that kind of distracting.
The image received a 24 and was the only image in the category. Same judges, please, for master color documentary, Busy Harbor. Eight, 8, 8.
I think it's a good capture of the harbor and all the boat movement in the harbor. I don't know if it's me. It looks like the horizon just isn't level. it, that might be an illusion for the image, but that's how it looks to me.
The image received a 24. It was the only image in the category. Moving on to nature wildlife, I'd like to continue with the same judges as we start with intermediate color nature wildlife, Mojave National Preserve Sunset.
Turn contrast down. Not now. Turn it down on the TV because I'm looking at the difference.
Eight, 8, 8.
Well, the image follows a lot of the rules of the composition. I see foreground here. It's sharp through the mid-range and in the background. And the clouds, the exposure is nicely handled. It's a pretty straightforward shot, but the camera placement is nice. And the only thing that maybe improved a little bit was to maybe pick something that was actually your subject matter. Are you going for the pear cactus here, the sky, or something there? I see too many different elements of having a main subject.
The image received a 24. Succulent. Eight, 8, 8.
I love the colors in this. It looks to me like if that inside leaf had been pushed out just a little bit more so you could see deeper into it. Might would have made it better if you could have done that. and I think that would have made the shot a little bit better.
The image received a 24. There are 2 images to review for placement, starting with succulent and going back 1 to Mojave National Preserve sunset. Judges a 1 or a 2 for the Mojave Preserve. And the judges have chosen succulent. Judges 1, 4, and 5, please. For advanced color, nature, wildlife, dinner time. Eight, 9, 8.
I'm one of the 8s, and I would have probably given it a higher score if you probably would have cut off the stuff on that upper right. I don't think it adds to it and tends to pull my eye away from the B, which is, very sharp focus and very, very nice. I would have probably got rid of some of that flower, and I think that would have gave me a 9 or boosted the score up for me.
Image received a 25. Exploring Wyoming. Eight, 8, 8.
It's a beautiful image. It just, there's no central subject to focus on to make you get real excited. Nice sky, nice reflection in the water. It's just a really nice image. It just doesn't have that last little bit of pow to make it go over the top.
Image received a 24. Osprey. Eight, 9, 8.
I liked it a lot. I liked the placement of the bird. I liked the square format that you chose to present it in. Branches coming out, add to the composition. They don't take away. I love the color palette of the sky behind the bird. I thought this was amazing.
Image receives a 25. Wild dogs. Nine, 9, 8.
I really like the image. I like the fact that you have 3 animals. I like the fact that you've got room around all of them and that most all of the animals are in focus.
The image received a 26. Zion Subway. 999.
You know, it's like most pictures I see of this are really pretty good, but this just the color. You're right there. This is the right time of day. Being in the right place at the right time. It's kind of just the right image.
Slow shutter speed on the water.
Yeah.
Perfect image.
Yeah.
You can't, it's hard to find, you can't find anything wrong with it.
The image received a 27. There are 4 images to review for placement, starting with Zion Subway, going back 1 to Wild Dogs, going back 1 to Osprey, and going back 2 to Dinner Time. Would you like to see them again, judges?
Yeah, why not? Let's do it.
Okay. Dinner Time, Osprey, Wild Dogs, and Zion Subway. Good now? Okay. Judges, a 1, 2, 3, or 4 for Zion Subway. Wild Dogs. Osprey. And Dinner Time. And the judges have chosen Zion Subway first, Wild Dogs second, Osprey third, and Dinner Time fourth. Judges 2, 3, and 5, please. As we move on to people, we'll start with Advanced Color People, The Commissar's Daughter. Eight, 8, 8.
Well, this image has a lot of impact there. The bold red flag there, nicely diagonal across her, and I think it's framed very nicely. The composition is strong. What detracts from me, just really I couldn't go to get it higher, was the fact that it just looks a little bit overly pushed, processed for a for the image. It the skin tones in there start really muddying up a bit.
The image received a 24. The Castro San Francisco. Seven, 9, 8.
Oh, there we go.
For me, it's the colors. Colors are, I love the colors. The very top, the bright spot at the top probably could be cropped out. But for me, it's the colors.
Well, I'm low, and I guess it was more, I was looking for more focus in the guy, so maybe it's just the application, the processing, or whatever, but yes, I agree with Daryl on the colors. I just wanted to see a little more focus on the subject, which should be the people, person.
The image received a 24. There are 2 images to review for placement, starting with the Castro San Francisco and going back 1 to the Commissar's daughter. Judges, a 1 or 2, please, for the Commissar's daughter. And the judges have chosen the Commissar's daughter. Same judges, please, for advanced monochrome people, Ely Train Engineer. Nine, 8, 9.
I thought this was a great image right away. Right when it popped up, I liked it. For a second, I went away to the back door, the bright spot. But you know what? There's so much interest in the gears and his eyes that just drew me right back into the image. And those are one of those people images that can be a portrait or an image, because he's got a lot of action in what he's doing, and then also good lighting.
I have to say something about the rich blacks and the lighting on the instruments. You got the lighting on his face and the instruments, but you got all the black in there as well. That's good job.
Image received at 26. Iranian girl on the bus.
I'm sorry, we're in advanced, right?
Correct. 7, 8, 8.
Well, I guess I'm a little low on the people person this time. Really, the drawback I see is the hand is kind of taken away. It almost looks kind of funny to me, and I'm trying to make sense of the fingers and stuff there more than looking at her face. And I would just, you could either crop or just darken that out so you don't see it, because really the interest you want to be right at her eyes, right on her face.
The image received a 23. There are 2 images to review for placement, starting with Iranian girl on the bus and going back 1 to Ely Train Engineer. Judges, a 1 or a 2, please, for Ely Train Engineer. And the judges chose Ely Train Engineer. Judges 1, 2, and 4, please, for Master Color People, The Flower. Seven, 8, 8.
Well, since I was a 7, I'll talk. My problem is the face. I can't see the face. I don't. In people, yeah. I wish I could see the face, her face. It just really bothers me that I can't.
The image received a 23 and was the only image in the category. We're moving on to photojournalism. I'll start with judges 1, 3, and 5, please, for advanced color photojournalism, St. Thomas Ruins. 887.
Yeah, one of my problems with the image is when they painted with light, the shadows that they created to the right of the steps by hitting the rocks and then creating the shadows on the steps. If they would have held their light at a higher angle and gotten rid of those shadows, I think it would have helped a little bit.
The image received a 23. Mexican Rodeo. Eight, 7.
Holy cow, I'm beating everybody up. You know, photojournalistically, I like the image, I like the horse, I like the dance, I like the smoke. But looking around his head and around the front of the horse, it's like you've had to bring it out so much that I can see where you've dodged or burned, and that's not good in a photojournalistic image.
Image received a 23. Red flag.
Not good in any image.
Did you miss it?
I got you. 887.
Photojournalism is supposed to be telling me a story. Red flag tells me a little bit of the story, but just the picture of the plane's not really telling me anything. His landing gear is down, which means if he's landing, he shouldn't be going straight up in the air. So that's kind of confusing for my story perception. So, and then I think it's cropped a little bit tight on a plane for photojournalism to see what the story is.
The image received a 23. LVPD responds to downtown apartment fire.
Wow.
Can I hear the title again?
LVPD responds to downtown apartment fire.
You went advanced?
Yeah. Nine, 8, 7.
Okay, I gave it a 9, and I really like it, but I wanted really bad to mark you down a point for your title. LVPD, Las Vegas Police Department, which we don't have a Las Vegas Police Department. There is no such thing. It's Las Vegas Metro Police. The Las Vegas Police went out of business many years ago. And there is no police cars in the entire picture. So the title really bothered me, but it's in advanced, and I shouldn't judge on the title, so I didn't. Other than that, I really like the image.
I'm the low bottom. I just think for an advanced image, it's pretty muddy, and I know it's dark, but I think you're better off having it a little bit dark than having it so grayish. You know, because once again, this is photojournalism. We shouldn't be altering too much. So.
The image received a 24. Better than a stogie. 888.
I think this is good capture. The eyes, I'm drawn straight to his eyes. Can't really tell if he was looking at you or off at the camera or off from the camera, but I'm drawn straight to the eyes. And I think this is a good job.
So I think this is a great image. I only scored it an 8, probably because of the category. Once again, photojournalism. If you didn't give me that title, I don't see a real story here. But this is a great portrait or people person. I would have probably gave it a 9 in one of those categories.
Image received a 24. There are 5 images to review for placement.
Sure there are.
Yeah. Starting with Better Than a Stogie. Going back 1 to LVPD responds to downtown apartment fire. Going back 1 to Red Flag. Going back 1 to Mexican Rodeo. And going back 1 to St. Thomas Ruins. Would you like to see those again, gentlemen?
Man, please.
All righty. St. Thomas Ruins, Mexican Rodeo, Red Flag, LVPD responds to downtown apartment fire, and Better Than a Stogie. We good?
We'll do it one more time.
Okay. Those boys from Alabama. Better Than a Stogie. LVPD responds to downtown apartment fire. Red Flag. Mexican Rodeo. St. Thomas Ruins. We good? Okay. Starting with St. Thomas Ruins. A 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Okay. Mexican Rodeo. Okay. Red Flag. Okay. LVPD responds to downtown apartment fire. And Better Than a Stogie. It'll take a minute, guys.
Corey, can you turn Daryl up just a twitch, or should I just ask him to speak up?
Who is Daryl?
Do I need to move this up?
Make sure it's on minus the side on. Oh, who's that one? It's on, right?
It's on.
Yep. And you get this.
This one too.
I just hear that he's soft.
Yeah.
I'm getting reports back that he's a little soft.
Okay, we have a tie for first between Mexican Rodeo and LVPD responds to downtown apartment fire. So there's the apartment fire, and back 2 to Mexican Rodeo. So judges, a 1 or a 2, please, for Mexican Rodeo. And the judges have chosen Mexican Rodeo. So that's in first place. In second place is LVPD responds to downtown apartment fire. And in third place is Better Than a Stogie.
I'm also hearing that Linda is amazingly clear.
Good.
It's a speech teacher. She articulates a lot. Okay, we're moving on to pictorial. And we'll start with judges 1, 2, and 4, please. For intermediate monochrome pictorial, WTC.
Beginner or
Intermediate. Eight, 9.
I'm the 9. I just love it. I love the lines on it because you got the curve and you got the straight. I think it just kind of blends it all.
One of the lower scores want to
I
give a
think the image has a
suggestion?
lot of good impact. What I think it kept it from going to a 9 was just some of in the curve on the upper part there, where I saw some of the white in there. It was kind of distracting in that. Would like to see maybe that go away, or maybe more texture in that part that's black there around the 2 o'clock position towards the center of the image there, just to the upper right there, where the tangent is with the 2 there. But nicely composed. It's a very strong image. It's graphically, but I just thought to be an outstanding image, maybe clean that up, or maybe bring the texture out maybe more in some of that other stuff. There was kind of just a little.
Hopefully, most of our viewers are old enough to know where the 2 o'clock position is. Not a digital clock.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Can't say that anymore.
It's very nice image. It's very strong, but it just had that minor thing.
The image
It was
received
improved
a
that way.
25.
Okay.
Judges, and it was the only image in the category. Judges 1, 2, and 3, please, for advanced color pictorial.
Did you say 1, 2, 3?
1, 2, 3.
Okay. Thank you.
And I'm trying to figure out how to pronounce this name. Naunkaweep.
What's the category?
Pictorial.
Pictorial.
Or
Advanced. Nine, 8, 8.
Okay, I'm one of the 8s this time. Pictorial. To me, it would take, and I think the picture would have improved if we would have had an overall tone of color for the pictorial. I've got bright stuff, I've got dark stuff down there. So for a pictorial, more evenness of a color theme or texture across color theme across the would have taken help instead of this light and then darks, and it's kind of.
Well, I'm the 9, and that was part of the part that appealed to me was the difference between the darks and the lights. And I get, even in the darkest dark spot in the bottom left corner, I can still see detail. But more importantly, on the mountains on the left side of the river, all the way back, I can see detail in the rocks. And yet I'm still holding detail in the rocks on the right-hand side of the image. And I find, there's probably, my guess is 10, 11 stops of light difference in there. And I think the fact that they're holding detail through that many stops of light is actually quite amazing.
Image received at 25. Haystack Rock. Eight, 8, 8.
I think this is a beautiful image. The sunset, the reflection of the sunset, the rocks over in the right third, but the problem for me is they're too high in the upper right third, and there's too much of the beach in the foreground. If you cropped up some, or if you could have given a little more sky above the rocks, I think it would have made it a much better image. But the color in this, the sunset, is beautiful.
Image received at 24. Above the clouds, Haleakala sunrise. Nine, 8, 8.
Well, once again, I'm the 9. I really like the difference in contrast between the black shadow of the mountain and the white puffy clouds. That really, it makes the image very dramatic and impressive.
The shadow detail is handled very nicely. I think the image may have been improved just a little bit if we had a little less of the sky. We don't really need it. I think the focal interest here was the ridge line and the sun breaking across the clouds. I will maybe more tighter on that elements there.
Image received at 25. Estuary.
Very much.
7, 8, 8.
Well, I'll talk because I was the 7. I think the excitement, and this is a pictorial image, I think all the excitement and the pretty part of the picture is out of the estuary. I know that's the title of it, but I just want to go out there and see what's out there. I don't want to stand where I am.
The image received at 23. Rachel Windmill. Eight, 9, 8.
Okay. I was the 9 on this one because I think this has a lot of impact on it here. The placement of where the core of the Milky Way is crossing there with the windmill there, nicely composed. A little bit of touch of that of the sundown in the distance there. The interesting forms along the horizon line there just really spoke to a very nice. I can see a story here. This lone windmill out on the plains here.
Yeah, and I gave it an 8 because I think there's way too many dots on here. I don't think there are that many stars. I think some of that is noise. I think that it's got a lot of noise
down
in
at the
it.
bottom there.
And it's just got, I think it's got too much, I think some of that is noise. I don't think that's all stars.
Okay.
And I don't think that's a sunset. I think that's a city off there.
Is that a city glow there?
Yeah.
But
Because
I-
the Milky Way comes up a little too late for that to be part of the sunset left.
But it was
But
just
other than
nice.
that, that's fine. I really like the placement of the windmill. I like the placement of the Milky Way. I just think that we have some noise problems in this, and we've gotten a little too much processing done here.
The image received a 25. There are 3 images to review for placement, starting with Rachel Windmill, going back 2 to above the clouds, and going back 2 to Nankoweap. Need to see him again?
Yeah.
Yes, please, okay. Nankoweap, above the clouds, and Rachel Windmill.
Okay.
Okay? Judges, a 1, 2, or 3, please, for Rachel Windmill. Above the clouds. And Nankoweap. And the judges have chosen Nankoweap in first place, in second place above the clouds, and in third, Windmill. Judges 2, 4, and 5, please, for advanced manorial pictorial, The Reflections.
Advanced pictorial.
Eight, 9.
I'm the 9. I'm going to talk because I bet somebody in this group, and I don't know who all the judges are, but I bet they scored it down for that horizon line right in the middle of that image, which is a major faux pas. But look at this amazing image. You know, I went ahead with it because I want to rule thirds just from the vertical with that sailboat and that mast going all the way down the bottom, and that really draws me in. And I think this is an incredible image, well handled in the water and the sky both.
I saw the horizon line smack dab middle, and I figured that the photographer put it there for a reason. I don't think it's a mistake or anything like that. I just was looking at it here. I think the image could have been improved maybe if we would have taken and concentrated more. I wanted to see more of this reflection off of that big mast there, and I think I'm not even sure if it's a catamaran. I think it is, but it just it came close to But I think it just would have had a little more impact if we could have taken and seen maybe more profile of the boat or something like that to really punch it out. It just came short on the wow factor.
Image received a 25. It was the only image in the category. Same judges for Master Monochrome Pictorial, Old Power Line. Eight, eight, eight.
It's a real interesting subject. The only thing that kind of bothers me, they're right above the center. It's the clouds, but it looks like black smudges more than anything else. And it kind of pulls my eye to that. And there's some black on that far right, too, on that ridge line. And some of those spots there kind of bother me. But, it's definitely an interesting subject.
Image received a 24. It was the only image in the category. Moving on to portraiture, we'll stick with these judges as we do beginner portraiture, color. Sarah 1. Nine, 8.
I'm one of the 9s. I just the eyes are nice, tack sharp focus. The hair's nice. It's like for a beginner, I think it's an awesome attempt. It's very nice.
Oh, exactly, for a beginner attempt here, the eye line is nice and composed within the frame. They're following a lot of the guidelines. I see that happening. The background is slightly out of focus. So for someone who's beginning photography or beginning portraiture, this is an outstanding image.
Image received a 26. Sarah in pearls. Nine, 9, 9.
There we go.
There we go.
So, yes, kind of taken from Gary's last comment, for a beginner, this is handled very well. Good catch lights in the eyes, nice direction of the face, the lighting coming down, actually a little bit of Rembrandt lighting there. I like the placement of just a little bit of the bottom of the outfit, because that brings you back up to the face again, so very well handled.
The image received a 27. There are 2 images to review for placement. Sarah's going to win tonight. Either Sarah in pearls or Sarah 1. Judges, a 1 or a 2, please, for Sarah 1. And the judges have chosen Sarah in pearls. Judges 1, 3, and 4, please. We're moving on to master color portraiture. Don't keep me waiting. this in one. Daryl, I missed yours.
Oh.
I'm sorry. Thank you. 888.
Well, as far as comments go, that foreground, all that white in the foreground of that image is not helping this image at all. Secondly, this is master portraiture, and the reflections in the mirror, I don't know if that's a mirror headboard or if that's a hole in the wall to another section, it really doesn't matter. But the light is not being controlled up there. You've lost it, and you got those cupboards or whatever they are behind her head are exceedingly distracting. And in master portraiture, you are responsible to make sure that that doesn't become a distracting factor. So that should have all been gone, and I would have cropped some of the foreground out.
Image received a 24. Chelsea. Nine, 8, 8.
I'm one of the 8s. I mean, it's the eyes just look way too overprocessed. But everything else is sharp. But I just, like I say, the eyes are just, they look too fake for me.
The image received a 25. There are 2 images to review for placement, starting with Chelsea and going back 1 to Don't Keep Me Waiting. Judges, a 1 or a 2, please, for Don't Keep Me Waiting. And the judges have chosen Chelsea. Same judges, please, as we move into still life. We'll be starting with intermediate color still life. Red bowl of fruit with red pear. Nine, 9, 8.
Yeah, I really like this image. It could have been put in several categories. Still life is just fine. Could have been in creative. It could have been in pictorial. I mean, this is a really nice image that a lot of thought has gone into to create. The use of selective color is really nice. The fact that we have 5 different fruits. We got circular lines. I really like the way this image turned out.
The image received a 26. It was the only image in the category. Same judges, please, for advanced color still life. Ornithologallum.
Can you say that again?
Ornithologallum. LYJ, little yellow jobby. Eight, 9, 9.
Well, I think it's lovely. Yeah, it's just gorgeous. I mean, there's a few white tips that are hot, but to me, that just kind of helps focus your eye to some of those flowers, the lower one and the top one for me.
I like the choice of colors, the yellow and the blue. They're opposite on the color wheel. They always go well together. I think this image would have been improved if you would have shot it on diagonal. Instead of by having it straight up and down in the middle of the image, I think it makes it look kind of stagnant and stuck there. I think if it was on a diagonal, it would have given it a little more of a dynamic feel.
The image received a 26. It was the only image in the category. One more for this panel of judges. Judges 1, 3, and 4 as we move to Master Color Still Life Grand Ole Opry. Eight, 8, 8.
Hey, it's the Grand Ole Opry. What can you say? You got this showing the floor from the old Ryman Auditorium. What is there to say? It's you captured a great shot right there. How he was able to get that close to the stage and nobody around, I don't know, but hope you didn't break in.
The image received a 24. It was the only image in the category. Judges 1, 2, and 5, please. We're moving into unclassified. We'll start with beginner wrong. We'll start with advanced color unclassified. Sirius peruvianus, translated for me as Peruvian apple cactus. Eight, 8, 8.
I gave it an 8, but I haven't figured out why yet. It's like when it came up, I really liked it. It almost looks like an aerial view of landscape. And then 3 seconds later, I hated the lighting because it's kind of bright through the middle of the cactus. And then 5 seconds after that, I liked it again. So I was thinking this would be great in abstract because I find myself trying to figure out what I'm looking at, even though I know what it is by the title.
The image received a 24. Glorious crowned cranes. Eight, 8, 8.
Well, the cranes are perfect. There's no doubt about it. Everything about the cranes are absolutely perfect. The juxtaposition of their necks and their headdresses and everything else. You needed a smaller f-stop to get that background to go away. And the background distracts the image and kills it. And that's what marked it down from a 9 to an 8.
Image received a 24. Charcoal ovens at Bristol Wells. Nine, 8, 8.
I don't know if you saw the satellite in the image when you took the picture. It made the light come out of the charcoal oven at the same angle as the satellite turns. That was pretty clever.
Yep. The image is very strong with the composition and technically executed very, very nicely. I think that if it would have taken and maybe improved a bit by taking and not having the luminosity of the foreground bushes there and the rocks, if it would have helped to give it a little bit more natural looking light onto it as opposed to like this has been totally artificially lit.
The image received a 25. Star Trails with Labyrinth. Eight, 9.
Who's that?
When do you guys want to say something?
I was a bit confused looking at the image here because it's like, okay, I've got this night shot of star trails, which are wonderfully executed. Then I see this the landscape in the foreground here, and I'm going, was this a process shot? Was this a multi-exposure? What's going on here? I think it's a very interesting picture, but I think it might have been improved if maybe the actual landscape was more in keeping with the night theme of the star shot or star trail shot like this. It's certainly different, and so
So
that fits the category of kind of classified.
well, actually, that's what I did. I was the same way. I was a little bit confused. I'm trying to figure out if the sky was put in there or if they actually shot it. Mm-hmm. But then being unclassified, that shouldn't matter to me. So I went with a higher score just for the creativity. Mm-hmm.
The image received a 25. There are 4 images to review for placement.
Hey, that's one down from 5 last time.
Starting with, just wait. Starting with Star Trails with Labyrinth, going back 1 to Charcoal Ovens at Bristol Wells, going back 1 to Glorious Crowned Cranes, and going back 1 to Peruvian Apple Cactus. Want to see him again? We're good?
I'm good.
Okay. Judges, a 1, 2, 3, or 4, please, for Peruvian Apple Cactus.
I just really have a feeling we're not going to be together on this.
Glorious Crowned Cranes. Charcoal Ovens at Bristol Wells. And Star Trails with Labyrinth. We're going to have to rescore because somebody used 2 twice.
Didn't do 2 twice. It wasn't
I
me.
think. Okay. Once again, Star Trails with Labyrinth. Okay. Charcoal Ovens at Bristol Wells. Okay. Glorious Crowned Cranes. Okay, we're good. And the judges chose the Peruvian Apple Cactus.
The cactus is very interesting. It's like you look at it.
I would like to take the three things off and
because they
just have
changed,
just the
there
middle
was
part
a
and the
change
abstract
score.
as a whole picture.
So they ended up
Well-
I
changing
don't know what
it.
the hell that was.
That's what I said. Doesn't
exactly,
it look
you
like
don't
it
know.
might be a highway or something through, you know, with,
Satellite image of a highway.
yeah, it looks like a highway with trees driving,
Yeah,
you know.
exactly. It's like
In second place was Charcoal Ovens at Bristol Wells. In third place was the Glorious Crowned Cranes. Okay, we're moving on to Club Challenge, and tonight's Club Challenge is whatever you want it to be.
I thought it'd be fun.
Anything goes. We will start with judges 2, 4, and 5, please. For beginner club challenge, Sarah 2. Eight, 8, 8.
I probably shouldn't make the assumption this is the same maker as the last one of the same portrait, but I do have that thought in my mind. And again, not to be comparing other images to this one, but since they are the same model, the last one had a little bit more compositionally good things going for it as far as how she was facing and the greenery behind her. This one's a little bit brighter behind her, which is a drawback, and there's a little more cluttery, which I don't even know what that is on the table. It might be a bowl or something like that. And then the pose of the hand kind of coming out of the side of the head is not helping. However, on both images, I do like the softness of light that you're using here, so that's a big plus.
The image received a 24. It was the only image in the category. Same judges will move you up to intermediate club challenge, starting with La Défense, Paris. Eight, 9, 8.
I'm the 9. I love the tonality on it, and just with the combinations of the lines going in different angles with circles, that just keeps your eyes constantly moving through it.
exactly the tonality is good. The composition is very strong. What I think would improve the picture is the vertical elements. I don't know what they're, some sort of glass fronts or look almost like phone poles, but they're not. But they distract from the overall. The other, we have the circular part of the facade there, and then the square image here, and it just sort of pulls it away from there. If it had been cropped a little tighter on that, I think it would have improved the picture.
Image received a 25. Skillock Lake Grouse. Eight, 9, 8.
I like the idea, and I even feel I scored it a little bit high with an 8, just for the time and effort and the thought that went into it. I like the color tonation of the bird against the background, the monochrome black and white. The biggest problem I have is maybe some sticks on the left could go away, where making all the branches just go up and down would even it out a little bit. But also having the bird right dead center, I don't think is helping the image or the compositional aspect of the image.
Image received a 25. Zabriskie Point, Death Valley, Smoky Sunset. Eight, 8, 8.
We're still in beginner, right?
Intermediate.
Intermediate. Yeah.
No, advanced. Yes,
Is it
intermediate.
Intermediate. Okay. My brain wanders sometimes, even outside
Bring it
of the,
back,
even
bring it
outside
back.
of the picture. I know it's like the squirrel. Okay. Actually, I think Ed and I were out here same day. This looks very close to a couple pictures I took. They weren't at Zabriskie though. So oddly enough, I would think that sun was painted in there, but I know it wasn't because it was really smoky out that day. I like the texture in the mountains. I like the depth, even with the faint mountains in the back. And I love the colors of the sky, the whole color palette. The biggest problem, I think, is that horizon line falls right in the middle. Those back mountains aren't enough to bring your horizon up. So it still looks like it falls right in the middle. And also the sun is... It's not right in the middle, but it's too close to the middle. It needs to be off one side or the other. Other than that, I think this was handled pretty well.
Image received a 24. There are 3 images to review for placement, starting with Zabriskie Point, going back 1 to Skilak Lake Grouse, and going back 1 to La Defense, Paris. Okay, judges, a 1, 2, or 3 for La Defense, Paris. Skilak Lake Grouse. And Zabriskie Point. And the judges have chosen, haven't. They came up with a tie. So we need to have a runoff between La Defense, Paris, and Zabriskie Point, Sunset. Okay?
Which one are we voting on?
Zabriskie Point, we're voting on first. And the judges have chosen La Defense, Paris. Okay, we need judges 1, 3, and 5 now. And I suggest you get all 9 cards in order because when it comes time for the runoff, there's a possibility you might need all 9.
What numbers? What judges?
1, 3, and 5. Okay. We're moving into advanced club challenge. We'll start with a common grackle.
Your one? Oh, that. Okay. Sorry.
That's why I knew we were safe.
Just the title.
Common grackle. Nine, 8, 8.
Well, I give it to 9, and I'm surprised myself by how much I like this image. I wish I guess the one branch in the middle that's out of focus, but other than that, this bird is so black and so hard to photograph. It is handled so exceedingly well with the yellow flowers and the blue sky, the colors that are opposite on the chart that really go well together, and this very black bird that's lit exceedingly well. This is an extremely good job and a very difficult subject.
Image received a 25. Cruising the empty streets of downtown Vegas. Eight, 9.
It's dying.
Just let it go. Yeah, I'll change it in a minute. What was the score?
889.
889.
Well, it's a interesting shot of the car. Is this wheel falling off? Looks like it. I like the colors of the lights in the background, but your focus is on just one car. I really don't see how empty the streets are. It appears to be empty, but I would have liked to see more of the street itself.
So I know we're in a club challenge and it's kind of anything goes, so I did not mark down for the challenge, but I possibly should have marked down for your title. I like the car, I like the angles, I like the lighting in the background, I even like the Dunkin' Donuts sign. It gives it a second object to view in the image, so I kind of go back and forth. But yeah, I don't see anything that says Vegas in it, so you could possibly lose points for that, but I was the 9, so.
Image received a 25. Reflections. Eight, 9.
Yes. 2 in a row.
3.
That was 3 in a row, huh? Hey, I'm the 9 again. I like it. Compositionally, I like how the buildings and the windows are reflecting different throughout. I don't know if it'd be stronger for the other judges maybe to cut those 3 boxes off at the bottom that have some of that tower in there. It might help, but overall, I kind of liked it. I was giving you a higher score for finding this and seeing this within the image.
I think I would have liked giving it a higher score if not only the 3 boxes, but the whole bottom half of the picture was gone. So that we just had the 3 sets of windows. I think that part of the image is incredibly strong. It's just the bottom half of the image looks like a composition that was stuck together.
Image received a 25. Montauk Point Lighthouse.
And change.
Yeah. Nine, 8, 9.
Yes! 4 in a row.
No, that was separate.
Oh, what?
This one's above everybody else.
9-8. Oh, 9-8-9. Sorry, yeah.
I'm particularly I was an 8 and I changed to a 9. I really liked the looking through the weeds or the grass or whatever it is. But the part that made it go all the way to a 9 for me was the fact that on the top grasses, you didn't cut any of them off. Every single one of them has a little bit of space above it. Each individual grass is in focus, and the lighthouse is in focus behind it. I find that quite impressive.
For a minute, I was kind of teetered on the edge because, again, at first look, and usually that first look is the strongest thing the judges take, is that bullseye almost bothered me, but as I took my time and went through this one, because it keeps you interested. It's a very great piece of artwork. I like the square format you've added to it. And actually, that being centered with the other two buildings gives you dimension and height. So I think this is very well handled.
Image received a 26. Waterworld.
Oh boy.
I think there's some great images.
Daryl.
Oh,
Still waiting for a score.
oh, sorry.
Excuse me. Squirrel.
Eight, 8, 9. Now, Daryl.
Okay. I think there's some really gorgeous images in this. I just think there's too many. If you cut it down to 9, I think that would have been a lot better. We could have focused more on the better ones. But for me, it's just too many images in this.
I want to say something, I just don't know what to say.
Just say it.
Compositionally, we have 20 images, and so we have an even instead of an odd number.
Yeah, but there's 5 up.
Yeah, I know.
So.
All I know is
Could-
there's a lot
could
of
have been
eyes
5 and
looking
3.
at me.
A lot of eyes.
Well, I'm okay. So we're in a category that is no category. Basically, it's unclassified. So for a minute, my oh boy in the beginning was the words. I don't like words on pictures. But then if I take a minute and look at it, you know, this is actually a great, amazing commercial image for advertising diving. If I was diving, I would want to go find all these fishes and try and take a picture just as well. And that's probably why I gave it the highest score.
Image received a 25. Baluchistan Desert. Seven, 9, 7.
There's something weird about that camel's neck and throat.
And the 2 front legs.
Yeah, how many? I only see one.
Okay,
ankles.
okay, let's be... All right. I like the idea. The horizon line, again, it's a little high. Maybe if it was down a little bit, that would help. Maybe if we had the sun out in front of the camel a little bit more, we'd have a little more direction. Everything's kind of straight in a row. There's a few good things happening. I like the silhouette. I like the starburst in the sun. Everything just didn't come together to bring that score high enough.
I like the starburst in the sun. I like the foreground. I like the black blacks, and you still have highlight and detail in the foreground. I like the silhouette of the camel. I can see what Jerome was saying, but to me, the other components, for me, is why I gave it a 9.
Image received a 23. A day at the pool. Seven, 8, 7.
I like the black and white monochrome aspect to it. I like the composition. I think this would be fun to shoot around. If I was shooting it, I'd probably put a model in the red dress or something there. But that would be me. Anybody else have anything to say about it? It's just not. There's not a lot of impact for it. I scored it an 8, but there's not a lot of impact. Otherwise, it could have been a little bit better.
I agree with Jerome. Not a lot of impact, but even in the shadows, even in the back in the doors, you still see detail. As dark as it appears to be in there, and as bright as it is outside, you can still see detail in there, and I think it's a good image.
I think we have at least 4 different images here. If we had just the windows on the right with the no parking in front of the theater, that's a photograph. The doors underneath of the gym sign, that's a photograph. The gym sign is a photograph on both sides. The lines in the panels that are falling out of the marquee, that's another photograph. And I think all of those photographs put together just make the whole thing confusing.
The image received a 23. Horses at Capitol Reef Barn. Eight, 9, 8.
I think it's beautiful. You have the 3 horses out in the front. You got the beautiful sky in the background that is exposed really well. The colors and the trees in the background. I think it's overall a very good image.
Image received a 25. Evening at Horseshoe Bend. Nine, 9, 9.
Hey, look at that. I think this looks amazing. I was at first, it's like I wanted to go 9 right away, but then at first I had to think about it for a minute. It kind of looks like the horizon is a little bit crooked. It might just be the wide angle is kind of bending it a little bit. I probably would try and straighten that a little bit. On the other aspects, I think this is just amazing. The lighting, perfect time of day. I don't know if you had to take any lens flares out, but I don't see any that are real bad. And I wish I was here.
Image received a 27. Low tide. Seven, 8, 9.
Yes.
Well, I'm the low score, so I find it a pretty picture. That's about it. I think it's an average. I find it a pretty picture. Nothing really just jumps out and moves me about it.
My ADD made me count all the little tops of the things, and there is 10, so yeah, I'd probably have been happier, especially for Ed, if there was 9. But I think this is handled really well. it is a pretty picture. I think it would be a nice piece of artwork you might see in a doctor's office kind of office atmosphere. I think it's very soothing. Maybe a psychiatrist's office. But I think I like the color palette. I like how the composition is set up. Again, I have a problem with the horizon lines in the middle, but this one seems to work a little bit better.
Image received a 24. The clouds really were this pink. Eight, 8, 8.
It is amazing what the smoke is doing to the atmosphere and the colors that we're getting and what we're doing. And I congratulate whoever took this picture for being there and seeing it instead of sitting at home watching TV complaining that it's hot outside. It is a beautiful picture. It's just a little short of making it that jump into 9.
The image received a 24. Fire on Morning Star Road. Eight, 7, 7.
You know, this is an open category. I think this is a great documentary. But to make it a really great photograph, it needed time of day help.
Image received a 22. Cathedral Gorge Sunset. Nine, 9, 9.
Very well handled. Love the starburst in the sun. Actually, it's a half a starburst, which I think is even cooler.
Great placement.
Yeah, clouds are great. I love the cathedral there. I am going to complain, even though it's a perfect image, I am going to complain. I think that horizon should still not be in the middle. If you could have got down a little bit, or maybe come up a little bit and still kept everything else, but it's a great image.
Image received a 27. Star Trails at Rhyolite. Eight, 8, 9.
Ed, Joe, want to say anything?
Do I want to talk?
You do? Is it? I that's a lot of stars. great job on the stars. I was looking at it and I'm like, do I like it? Do I not? And I realized
But all
The-
the stars are moving.
the lighting on the figure, the exposure of the stars. I think it's a very good image.
I liked it. That was the highest score. I thought the placement of the ghost and the bicycle right under the circle was working for this image. Sometimes you kind of want them in two different placements, but this was working good, and I like all the extra room you have. He's not writing, but it gives him a lot of room to move throughout the image.
I think we have 9 to review the placement.
Yes.
We're in agreement. So you'll use all 9 of those cards you have, gentlemen. We'll start with Star Trails at Rhyolite. Go back 1 to Cathedral Gorge Sunset. Go back 4 to Evening at Horseshoe Bend. Go back 1 to Horses at Capitol Reef Barn. Go back 6 to Waterworld. Go back 1 to Montauk Point Lighthouse. Back 1 to Reflections. Back 1 to Cruising the Empty Streets of Downtown Las Vegas. And back 1 to Common Grackle. I know you're going to need to see him again.
At least 5 more times.
Well, I have an idea. How about if we do a 1 or a 2 for an in or an out
And knock it down.
and knock it down? Does that work?
That works.
Okay. Because I can see like 3 or 4 I can just get rid of.
Okay. Are you agreed with that, gentlemen? 1 or a 2 for in or
No,
out?
I could
Or
do
you
one.
can do for me just thumbs up or thumbs down.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
So we'll start with Common Grackle. That's in. Cruising the Empty Streets of Downtown. That's out. Reflections. Out. Montauk Point Lighthouse. In. Waterworld. Out. Horses at Capitol Reef Barn. Out. Evening at Horseshoe Bend. In. Cathedral Gorge Sunset. In. Star Trails at Rhyolite. Out. Okay, so we're left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right? That's more manageable. We'll start with Star Trails at Rhyolite. Go back 1 to Cathedral Gorge.
Star Trails was out.
Did I say Star Trails was out? Okay, then we've only got 4.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so Star Trails is out. We go to Cathedral Gorge Sunset. Back 4 to Evening at Horseshoe Bend. Back 8 to Montauk Point Lighthouse. Back 3 to Common Grackle. Do you need to see him again?
One more time.
Okay. We go Common Grackle, Montauk Point Lighthouse, Evening at Horseshoe Bend, and Cathedral Gorge Sunset.
Okay.
Okay? Judges a 1, 2, 3, or 4 for Cathedral Gorge Sunset. Okay? Evening at Horseshoe Bend. Okay? Montauk Point Lighthouse. And Common Grackle. The judges have chosen Evening at Horseshoe Bend for first. In second, Cathedral Gorge Sunset. In third, Montauk Point Lighthouse. Okay. Good job, judges.
Could have been happy giving any of the
Yeah.
top three a little ribbon.
They were good.
They were all
No,
good.
good.
Okay. Judges 2, 3, and 4, please. You won't need your cards. For Master Club Challenge, Early Morning Glory. Daryl, I need you. You're a
You
judge.
said,
I said 2, 3, and 4.
sorry. Sorry.
That's not a commentary, is it?
Sorry about that. Okay, I'm sorry. Oh, that was straight now.
Nine, 9, 8.
I was the 8. So this is a very dramatic image, almost. The moody sky, back down here, what I think would have taken it, and this is advanced, correct? Or master, pardon me, master. I meant to say master. To really make this nice, I'm looking at the foreground here and these tree trunks. If they would have taken and bit lighter, we could see the definition in them. That would have pushed it to, it would have improved the image dramatically. Because I'm lost down in here with it, and I think if those had been brought up, that would have really made it a compelling image. But the exposure is nice and needed that.
Image received at 26. A Phoenix Rising. Eight, 8, 8.
To me, it's the sunspot. I mean, it just the burst is okay, but then the orange spot after that, that's what kind of took it away for me. And she's just gorgeous, and even with the with all that hardware, it looks gorgeous. But I think that sunspot just didn't add to it for me.
That occurred totally with the sunspot there, and I think if we would have tightened up in the bottom part there with the dark background here, I think the photo, if we crop the bottom off, lose the from the waist down, and concentrate it on her face and everything, then maybe we could have even lived with the sun doggy in there, but it just distracts from a masterclass photo to take and have that dark back glob of dirt in the background there.
Image received at 24. Bristlecone pine.
I'm gonna.
Nine, 8.
I think it's beautiful. The clouds are amazing. For me, the bristlecone was just slightly overexposed and just a little too bright for me.
Image received at 26. Broadway. Eight, 7.
Don't really see anything that says Broadway. The signs are beautiful, but you got the Lucky Saloon Bastard, and then after that, you start losing focus on the signs. I would have at least liked to see 2 or 3 of them better focus.
Image received at 23. There are 3 images to review for placement. Going back 1 to bristlecone pine. Going back 1 to a phoenix rising. And going back 1 to early morning glory.
Probably want to do it one more time.
Sure. Early morning glory, a phoenix rising, and bristlecone pine.
Okay.
Ready? Okay. Judges, a 1, 2, or 3, please, for bristlecone pine. A phoenix rising. And early morning glory. And the judges have chosen early morning glory. Thank you, judges. Thank you, Corey. Thank you, Craig. Thank you who were listening to us. And we will hopefully be able to do this again next month. Ta-ta. Thanks, judges, so much.